Well, we, the people, and the Democrats pulled off a historic wins on election day. And not only are we talking about Mondani and Spanberger and Cheryl winning, but there were so many red districts that went for blue candidates, in many cases in deeply red states like Mississippi. I know some of you are telling me Mississippi isn't really red. I get you. I lived in Texas for 30 years, and I can tell you it's not red either, but it's controlled, it's mandated, it's gerrymandered. It is red. Okay. The will of the people have been suppressed. Let's just put it that way. And what's happening now is the will of the people are overriding the suppression. The suppression hasn't disappeared. Nothing has changed. As a matter of fact, it's worse than ever. They've got a Gestapo running around our country, kidnapping people. They've got CEOs telling us that we should get it together and take these higher prices. It's worse than ever. Yet on Tuesday, people came out in droves. The Spirit Guide said we have to vote in numbers bigger than we actually need. So if we need 100, we need to show up at 150%. Okay, we did it. We did this thing. Now, what I want to talk about and what I want to dive into, because this is all lining up. If you ask me, it's all lining up in what the Spirit Guide suggested. The MAGAs are starting to crumble. They're starting to, we said, what will they do when they're done with their red mad king? They will say, I'm not voting, all politics are bad. That's what they will say. And I don't think they showed up. Here I am from the future as I'm editing this video to tell you that the sound is a little staticky right now, but within a few minutes, it gets a whole lot better. Sorry for the trouble. Thanks for watching. At the polls. So I think that's already happening. We do see splits in the Democratic Party, which I also predicted. Here we have the old guard. We just heard Nancy Pelosi will not run again. You know, just not long ago, Nancy was the lion who came out and said, we're not endorsing Kamala Harris because we need a primary because, well, let's put it straight to you. My person isn't winning. My person isn't in power. I don't vote for her. Therefore, no one gets a vote. Now, what I like to say about Nancy Pelosi is I love her when she's fighting against people that are enemies, but sometimes she fights against us. Right. And that's where we talk about the Democratic split. That's where we talk about the party values starting to splinter. And what I've told you guys, my guides have told you, right? Like I am just a conduit for reading the energy, right? I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. I predict politics, but I also have a whole other channel where I provide truly helpful information for you on how to get through the politics, right? So that channel is Susan Lynn Spiritual Way Shower on YouTube. And there's lots and lots of videos there to help you understand how to deal with this ridiculously stupid timeline that we are living in. You want more help? Join my online community, right? It's $12 a month. There's a whole community there for you to join, to have your politics, to talk your politics, and to be supported in your views without worrying about trolls, right? It's private. It's not on any of these platforms. I have to pay for it. Therefore, it costs $12 a month. But I'm there too, giving you readings, right? Doing things with you every single month. You can learn all about all that stuff at SusanLynnMedium.com. SusanLynnMedium.com. Let's get back to the program, which is, well, the Democratic Party is suffering some identity crisis, the Spirit Guides are saying. We have Mamdani literally ran away with this race. He ran away with it. Spanberger, even Cheryl, who was, and Spanberger and Cheryl and both Mamdani were under attack by millions of dollars. They were overspent by millions of dollars. Yet, despite that, despite all the money that these corporate shills could throw at these people, they still won. And that, my friends, is a big wake-up call to both parties, to the Democratic Party and also to the Republican Party, because they can't redistrict us out of power. This is what the guide said. Remember when we talked about one of my favorite people, Jasmine Crockett. And yeah, she could get redistricted, but it's not going to stop her. She's going to win. If she goes for the Senate, she will win. Why? Because she speaks truth. She speaks clearly, and she speaks for us. You can tell which side she's on, and it's almost like Americans have gone, oh, okay, we get it. This person is lying, and this person is telling the truth, and we're going to go for the ones that are telling the truth. That's where we want to put our money, our vote, our power behind. This is where we're going, you guys. There's no stopping this train. Now, they may take pot shots. They may crack our kneecaps. You know, I mean, seriously, right? I'm even talking about the Democrats. They might crack their own people's Democrats kneecaps because, well, that money is hitting the bank, and I need it to hit the bank. And you're over here talking about things that are going to hurt my payment source, right? And that can't stand. We need to come back to the middle. This is what you're going to hear, and I'm channeling, so I'm not going to be emotional about this, but I got to say, the 40% Susan, talk about spicy. This makes her really upset, right? We have to stand by what we want. We want health care. We want reasonable health care. We want free health care. We want Social Security paid forever. We want disability paid forever. We want DEI back. We want the environment taken care of. We should not capitulate on these things just because they're saying they're too far left. And this, I think, is one of the reasons why Nancy is finally stepping down, right? She understands that there's been a big political shift and that we can no longer, or let's say both, we plus she can no longer walk the middle line. Now, you might be saying, oh, Nancy never walked the middle line. True, she stood up to Trump. She tore up his speech. She's really been a lion. I get it. She's done a lot of good things for her constituents. She's done a lot of good things for America, for us. I'm not saying she hasn't, but I am saying that, in my opinion, she showed her true stripes when she wouldn't jump on with Kamala Harris. Now, a lot of the the established Democrats did not jump on with Kamala Harris. And for whatever reason that is, right? But in my mind, they showed their true colors. We had 100 days, 100 and a few days to make this happen. And to have a primary and then spend 3 weeks or even a month, 30 of those 100 days trying to pick somebody, right? Well, what does that mean? It means that they all knew or thought they knew that a white dude would get the vote, that a black woman could not get the vote. And I'm just saying right now, she did get the vote. It was stolen from her. She got the vote. You can't tell me she didn't get the vote psychically, energetically, but also my own eyeballs, what I saw. And today we sit here a few days after Mom Donnie getting the vote that nobody said he could get. Cheryl getting the vote, Spanberger getting the vote. The fix is in, but on our side now. The people are waking up and have woken up. And this is indeed even people who didn't vote before, who didn't vote regularly, or people who voted for ours. We are overcoming the obstacles that they have set forth to keep us from having power. Now, let me talk just briefly about Mamdani and how he's going to do, because of all the candidates, I would say he's the most unique version, at least for Democrats, socialist, democratic socialist, which I particularly like that idea. I'm ready to explore that. I think that we've tried all the other things. I think it's not a bad idea to explore this, right? So how is he going to do, and how is that going to shape the Democrats? So they just showed me a picture of AOC. We know that AOC has been a big supporter of him, and we know that Bernie's been a big supporter of him. He's going to challenge. I mean, his role, his role is even more than just helping the people of New York City, of helping his constituents or not, yeah, his constituents, whether they voted for him or not. His role is to force change, the spirit guides are saying. He is a change agent. He is going to stand in humility. He's not going to do this the way Cuomo would have done it, or even the way Trump would have done it, like with a force, or Eric, whatever his name is, the old mayor. He's not going to do it that way. He's going to stand in humility and point out your shortcomings, your deficiencies. He's going to point out in a very raw and real way humanity and humility. And you know what? That the other side, be they Democrats truly or Republicans, cannot handle that, because we've operated for the last 50 years on apple pie and America's great, and nobody ever says anything bad about America. Nobody says anything bad about the United States. Nobody says anything bad about us, because we are exceptional, right? Remember when the guides talked about that American exceptionalism? Remember when they kept bringing that up a few months ago? Here we are, right? We're realizing we're not exceptional. We look like just a complete dumpster fire to the rest of the world. And we've really fallen in our status in the eyes of our peers. So he's going to be doing that. I do think he's going to be successful in, right. Okay, so here's what they just told me, right? So if you're a long-time viewer, you've heard me say this, but anyway, when I predicted that Kamala Harris would be president, they said she would be a fair president, a fair leader, but she would not be in anybody's pocket. She would be expected, right? She'd be expected to lean this way or lean that way for whatever reason. But she wouldn't. She would literally go down the middle. And the guide said all these months ago that she would make the left mad and the right mad, because she wouldn't just automatically lean one way or the other. She would just be fair in her assessments, her judgments, and her opinions and her platform. This is what I see with Mamdani. I think people are going to be surprised that he's not automatically leaning towards one group or the other. I don't see him doing that. I don't see him playing favorites. I see him going down the middle. And that is a lonely place, you all. That is a lonely place, because when you're in the middle, nobody's happy with you. Think about it. Nobody's happy with you. So he could have a kind of a lonely tenure, but it's really important what he's doing. It's really important because he's showing a mirror. There's a lot of, the guides are talking about humility and humanity. He's showing a mirror to ourselves. Are you sure this is who you want to be? Are you sure this is how you want to do business? Are you sure this is how you want to treat your people? Are you sure this is the identity that you want? Because this is the identity you have right now. And again, he's going to call out all the sides. I'm telling you, he's not going to favor anybody. He's going to favor justice. He's going to favor the middle ground, but not in a bad way, not in a I can't make a decision way, but in a I'm not going to succumb to your thoughts that just because I'm this religion or this or that I'm going to be on your side. That's not going to be Mamdani. He might be a little slower to do things because he's in the middle, because he is collecting data. He wants to hear from everybody. He doesn't want to just hear from the loudest group. He wants to seek out that quiet group, that group that hasn't had a voice. And he's going to spend a lot of time talking to them. And that might seem like inaction, but it's not. It's actually really diving deep into the fabric of his constituents to go to all the little corners. You know, like they're showing me a picture of, I saw on social media the night before the election, where he was at a gay bar at 1 a.m, like in the DJ booth, right? He wants to go to places that politicians don't go to, that aren't allowed to go to, that would be, not look good for you to go to. So I think that's that's really what his role is to show us to be as open-hearted as possible in considering all the options, right? So now he's not in Congress, right? But Congress is acting like he is. Yeah, Congress is recoiling. Everybody's recoiling, going, "Oh my God, we've got a, this weird dude leading New York. What is going to happen next?" Right? So that's a pressure. He is applying pressure, even though he's not in Congress. It's just, it's like they're afraid of him, even though he's a mayor, admittedly, of the most well-known and biggest city in the world probably, but he's a mayor, right? So then we switch over to Spanberger and Cheryl, and I feel like when I go into Spanberger's energy, and I predicted she was going to win, I predicted all three of these people were going to win. I thought that it would be harder for them to win, and I'm pleasantly surprised that there haven't been any shenanigans that we could uncover that mattered, because I think, again, the blue wave, let's not even call it a blue wave, the light, the wave of light was so big that it overcame whatever was planned or whatever was done. And I'm just telling you, I'm probably going to get a lot of grief from y'all. Maybe, I don't know, but I just saw Nancy Pelosi. It's like she threw in the towel. She's like, I can't win anymore, right? Like, I can't control this circus anymore. This didn't even happen in Congress, y'all. We're talking about governors here. So anyway, I just find that interesting that right after he won, she threw in the towel. That's you can't tell me that's a coincidence. You just can't. It's almost like she said, all right, they've chosen new people and I'm out. I can't play this game. I don't want to play this game. But none of this happened in her game. None of this happened on her playing field. Why is she throwing in the towel now? I think it's very interesting. I really do. And I'm happy because we need younger people. We need new people. And we need to be able to make mistakes. We need to be able to try new things and not just fall back on what's always worked, because it's not working anymore. We know that. It never worked, but they convinced us it was working. They convinced us to pay higher taxes. They convinced us to get our tax breaks taken away. They convinced us that it was okay that they kidnap citizens off the streets with no due process. It's not okay. This is not okay. We need to go into a whole new type of dealing with things, a new playbook. And yeah, there's going to be mistakes and we'll figure it out. So Spanberger and Cheryl are very different than Mamdani for all kind of reasons. Mainly, Spanberger feels way grounded. Her energy is huge. Mamdani's energy is lighter. It's almost ethereal. It's nimble. It's nimble. Like he's just there. Oh no, now he's there. Right? That's just his energy. Spanberger is like the 1,000-year-old oak tree that you didn't ever notice. You just drove past every day. And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, where'd that come from? That's really big and really powerful. That's Spanberger. She's a leader. She is more concerned with strategy. She's more concerned with the bigger picture. She's a governor too. She's not a mayor. So she's got more on her plate. So she's going to be very successful. The guides just said she's going to be very successful. And I think she's mainly going to avoid their shenanigans, their gotchas, like swift boating, back to that, right? Like she's going to avoid that. Mamdani is going to be a target. They're going to target him the way they did Hillary, the way they did Hunter Biden. They're going to make it the way they did Obama with his birth certificate. They're already saying his wife is a man, and somebody said on social media, and I think this is perfect. Why are the Republicans always thinking women have penises, right? Why is that? Why do they think everybody has a penis? And why are they so infatuated with penises? I'm just saying, like, I think there's maybe a diagnosis there that's not gay. It's not normal. This is a corrupted way of thinking that everybody has a penis. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, I mean, it's true though, right? So going over to Shirley, Mickey Cheryl. So she is a little bit less powerful right now than Spamberger, but I mean, I'm just talking about her energy, you guys. But she's like the willow tree they're showing me. Y'all don't ask me why they're talking about trees and penises. I don't know. I don't know this thing I'm channeling. 1-800 spirit guides, 1 for complaints. She's the willow tree. She bends. They can just knock her down and she'll come back out. She'll pop back up. You can defer from that maybe they are going to come for her and they are going to give her some pretty good knocks, publicity wise, where you go into Spamberger, well, you run into that tree, it's like you're going to need a whole front end redone, because she's not going to move. She's immovable. She's really grown her roots and she's very grounded. She's very, very grounded. And so I think that's interesting, right? That Mamdani has this energy of kind of sprite, kind of like a now you see me, now you don't. That's fine. I'm all good with that. And Spamberger is like the huge, huge, huge ancient tree. And Cheryl is the willow tree where I'm just going to bend with the wind. I think these are their own strengths, and I think they're going to play them to their best, right? So how did this very, very successful? You can't say this wasn't successful for the Democrats. You just can't say it. How was this very successful turnout and vote? I'm using a lot of words I don't ever use, so we'll see how this video does, because they're probably going to be like, how will that affect the midterms, right? Is this going to affect the midterms? Yes. Can we sustain this wave of energy through the midterms? I mean, yes and no. I see the wave getting knocked down, or I don't know how to describe what I just saw, but the wave, but it goes back up again. It does rebound, and it picks up new people and more people. So maybe there's a low tide, let's put it that way, right? And then we're going to have a king tide. So that's a very high tide, and it picks up new people that are MAGAs, new people that are TPUSA, whatever, CK's people, new people that are just waking up to the true reality, the gritty, ugly reality of what's happening in our country. And they're like, no, I can't. Like, I thought they were all the same. I thought all politics was the same, or I thought Democrats were devils, or whatever I thought. I don't know. But these new Democrats are speaking my language. They are fiery. They're fired up for me. They're fired up to fight for me. They're not just going to make backroom deals that give me crumbs and give the CEOs a lot of money. On both sides of the party, this has happened, okay? So this is why it's important to have these new faces, these new energies in there that are not going to be corporate shills, that are going to stand with the people, that are going to fight with the people. And I'm going to say it, Kamala Harris, she said, I can't be in the system right now because the system is broken. I need to step outside of the system to be able to work on the system. And you have people like Obama. In my last video, I talked about him having his own wake-up moment where he's decided to, okay, I can't follow the traditions of presidents don't speak out. I can't follow the traditions of presidents should not meddle in other presidencies. I have to do something. So it's interesting to me that you have some people running to the fire to help put it out, like Obama, and some people like Nancy Pelosi stepping away from the fire. Okay, make from that what you will. Right now, everybody's talking about her like she's the Queen of England, or, like the best thing that ever hit the earth. I think it's not a clean thing with her. I think that maybe she did what she had to do to get the deals that she needed to get done. I'm not taking anything away from the fact that she ruled Congress with an iron fist, but she ruled Congress with an iron fist. Then why do we still have a filibuster, right? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't think she has a spotless career. I think that maybe when you're playing politics, you get dirty. And maybe when you're playing politics, you don't ever have a spotless, career. Maybe that's just what it is, right? I just think it's interesting that Obama, after being on the sidelines for so many years, and trust me when I say that I have written that man letters, because I was a precinct chair in his first run. Not that that matters to anything, but I feel some kind of way, about him, and I feel like he was such an amazing president, and I feel like we needed his help, his guidance, his light, and he was following the rules. He was following the rules. Now he's decided there is no rules. There's no rule book anymore because the house is on fire. And if the house is on fire, I have a duty as a citizen, not as an ex-president, not as a past president, but as a citizen to get involved. And I think it's just interesting who's running to the fire and who's running out of the fire. Okay. And who's going to tell us there is no fire? There is no fire. There's a lot of people in the public space, you know, like the Lincoln Project or whatever that is. They were Republicans. There's a whole lot of Republicans who've become champions of the Democrats because, well, it was too much even for them. They were like, this is crazy. We're not Nazis, right? We don't want this. But please be aware, they're still Republicans. And they're going to start telling you, you need to calm down. You need to accept this. This is the best deal you're ever going to get. I just think Democrats shouldn't follow Mamdani. I think Democrats this is what one of them said, Ron Filikowski said on Threads. He probably said it on all his platforms. I don't think the Democratic Party should follow Spanberger, Cheryl, and Mamdani. I don't think they should follow them. I don't think what Cheryl, Mamdani, and Spanberger did could be replicated with the rest of the Democratic Party. Are you for real? Are y'all for real? These are 3 different states, 3 different demographics. Why not look at what might work? Why not look at those people that ran and won in Mississippi, the new mayor of Detroit? Why not look at all the brown women who won? Why not look at them and say, you know what, maybe we can. Maybe we can. But yet these people are going to tell you we can't, and we shouldn't. We should be safe. We should make a deal with the devil. Our best situation is to make a deal right now with the robber barons. Come on. Don't get stars in your eyes. Don't be trying to think that the whole United States of America can be like these people. Why not? Why can't we be like them? Are they really that different? Is wanting Social Security paid for forever a bad thing? Is wanting United States of citizens to have disability a bad thing? Is allowing for DEI to help people who've been, this is scholarly work. This is truly research that proves that non-white people get less medicine in the hospital, y'all. This has been proven, less medicine. It's ingrained. This racism is ingrained in our situation, in our society. We need to create extra help for those whom we've harmed. Is that so bad? Is that the worst thing that could happen? Right? These people are going to tell you it is. And right now, like I predicted, conservative Democrat is going to sit down with these, I don't know why I'm calling them devils right now, but that's what's happening, with these devils and make a deal. Right now, it's been reported that Schumer has the Senate together, and he's saying, we got to make a deal. We need to get America back on track. We need to get America working again. We need to get these, people paychecks. Well, that's all true, right? Like, that's absolutely true. It should never, ever be set up that somebody doesn't get paid just because of our stupid Congress. That instead of saying we need to make a deal, Schumer should be saying we need to change the laws. We need to protect these people and make sure they're always going to be paid. That if Congress can't get its act together, these people get a paycheck. Again, they're in this place of being higher and loftier, right? From their high perch, they're looking down at those not getting paid and saying, what needs to happen is we need to give in to this moneyed interest and make your health care bills triple so that you can get your paycheck. Meanwhile, the people who aren't getting a paycheck didn't do anything to not get a paycheck. They were just going to work, but yet now all of a sudden they're pawns in a political chess match with robber barons. That's the thing that I've been telling you guys about. A deal's going to be made, and it's going to give away something we don't need to give away, because right now we're powerful. The Democratic Party has got power. We just flexed our muscles all across the United States in the deep, deep red areas and in the blue areas. We flexed our muscles in a election that, generally speaking, wouldn't even be talked about on a headline. Mid-year, off-year election. Sure, there were a few, New York City mayor, that's a pretty big thing, but we showed up in all the states: Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, Mississippi, Utah. We showed up in all the states, California. We showed up in all the states in the middle of nobody even knowing about this election happening. So we're in a place of power. Yet you're going to hear people say, you've got to sit down and make a deal. You don't understand. You're not powerful, and these people are going to squash you, and you can't win, and you just need to make a deal. Well, I'm going to tell you, that's what they're going to tell you. You're going to see it on social media. You're going to see it. You're going to see it on your TV. You're going to see people say, these Democrats are really too full of themselves. Like, they're asking for too much. They're going to waste everything by not coming to the negotiating table. Well, we don't negotiate with terrorists. We don't negotiate with terrorists. And when you do, you end up with terrorists running your country. That's what happened. That's why we're here. Okay. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, I said in the last video, a pause. We're going to make a deal. We're going to make a deal because the pain is too great, and maybe we should make a deal, right? I don't know. I just think that we need to be cognizant of the power we have and use it. And I'm telling you this because forewarned is forearmed. If you know this, if you can be aware to watch for this, okay, I'm starting to see this, both sides are the same, or we need to, sit down and capitulate. Think about it. Know what's happening. Understand what's happening. We, meaning not me and you, because we would not, but our dear leaders, Schumer, Jeffries, are probably going to make some kind of deal. And this is what I've always seen. We're going to come out with, instead of losing 100% of SNAP or 100% having our health insurance go up by 100% or over 100%, what's going to happen is our health insurance is going to go up 20 or 30%, and we're going to lose 20 or 30% of SNAP. And there's also housing assistance, right? That is affected in some way. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the name of it is, but I don't know if it's Section 8. I don't know what it is, but it's also affected. So now, this is them boiling us in the pot by turning the heat up ever so slowly. So they turned it up to blast. We jumped out of the pot. We said, we're not stupid. You're trying to kill us, right? So, we're sorry. Get back in the pot. We won't do it again. So now, by increasing things by 30% and decreasing things by 30%, they're turning it up slowly, hoping we won't notice. But I will say this, between now and next year, midterms, we're going to notice, because we don't have 30%. We can't pay what we already owe. We cannot pay our bills. Now a lot of people are behind. There's so many things happening that we're not even aware of, that are triggers, that are strings, that are being broken in our economy that we don't know about because we have no media. We have no way of knowing about it. They're showing me the Titanic sailing, the band is playing, people are eating and being happy, and boom, there's an iceberg you didn't know was there. So This is kind of what is happening. So by the time we get through to June of next year, and that's the month they want to talk about, by the time we get to that midsummer, to that summertime, people are really angry, and they know who to be angry at. Because by then the health insurance will go up, the hospitals are disappearing, all your safety net, all the things that are humane are gone. They're not gone, but they feel like they're gone. We feel like they're gone. They're not, but whatever little tiny, amount of cushion we had is gone. And people are, so the people that it's gone for, they're angry. They're angry at the people that still have it. So now you have class wars breaking out, us against them. It's not pretty. This is not pretty. I got to just tell you, there really is going to be this eat the rich kind of situation. And I don't even know what rich means anymore. Like, I think it'll get to a point where you see somebody even driving some kind of car or going, I don't know. People are going to be afraid to post their vacations on social media. I mean, it's really going to be that kind of thing, because there's going to be a very stark divide between the haves and have-nots, even starker than it is now, if you can imagine. Truly a gulf between these two groups. And that's going to be, I mean, to me, that's how the Democratic Party splits in two, because there's going to be Democrats that are for the people, and there's going to be Democrats that are for the corporations. And I'm going to stop haranguing on her, but I'm channeling this. If you don't know, 60% Spirit Guides, 40% Susan, they're showing me Nancy Pelosi again. Look, she got very wealthy in Congress. I know she fought for us. I'm not saying she didn't fight for us. I'm saying you and I have to parse better. We can't just put Nancy Pelosi in the evil or the good column. We can't see things like that anymore. We need to see it clearly. Yes, she fought for us. She did some things, but she also did some things, got very rich, right? She also maybe even protected the donor class, the guides are saying. So it's really about learning discernment and learning to kind of parse it and then decide, okay, thank you, Nancy Pelosi. Thank you for your service. And thank you for getting out of the way, because the Spanbergers, the Cheryls, the Mom Donnies, and all those other people that took a chance and ran for office, that won, they're the new leaders. This is the new way. So I'm grateful, right? But I'm also saying that there are others like Schumer and other Democrats that we're going to have to start looking at a little bit more carefully. And whether you want to look at them or not, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you right now, there's a whole group of people, like a tidal wave of people that are coming, that are going to look at them in, like, with a microscope, in ways that you never thought about looking at them. This isn't even about me and you. I'm not even talking about me and you. I'm talking about this tidal wave of people that's coming in that are younger, that have the ability to just use discernment because they grew up in a different world, in chat rooms, in gaming rooms where you couldn't trust people, or you had to learn how to use your discernment better, right? They grew up in a more complicated, complex world, and they have a more of a fine-tuned ability to suss out who's sus and who's not. Those people, you're not going to take those people for a ride anymore. They're very much fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you. You know, they're not going to be fooled 3 times. They understand now, I need this disability for my son. I need this Social Security for my parents. I need this unemployment. I need better taxes that represent who I am, that represent what I'm doing. I want representation. I want more representation for me, representation for my family, representation for my differentness, for my that I'm not white, more representation that I'm not straight, more representation that I'm trans, more representation that I'm disabled. Trust me, you guys. These three people I'm talking about they might be the flagship right now. We might see them as the flagship of change, but they're not. It's the thousands of millions of people behind them that are rising up. We can't even see them right now because they haven't quite flipped their switches yet, which is going to happen between now and the end of the year. And even into February, there's a whole population of people who are going to go through a whole life cycle of grief in a very short period of time. And they're going to be activated in a way that I think no one sees coming. Clearly, the Republicans did not see this coming. They thought they had this in the bag, and they're running scared. And they should be. Thank you for watching this video. I'm going to get back to your questions in the next video. I'm preparing for my Connect to Empower number 3 in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And it's a lot. It's a lot to prepare for. I have 140 people coming, and I'm giving a lot of presentations at this, along with 5 other of my amazing psychic friends. So I'm kind of busy right now, and I will be out of pocket next week while I'm at my conference. But I will be here for you, and I will be back with your questions, and we're going to get through this together. I'm so happy that people are waking up. I'm so happy that people are taking action, and that means you and I can take a little break, right? We really can take a break because, as I said, I'm not even talking to you and I. Like, we're over here feeling like Sisyphus, like we got a boulder on our shoulders, and we're like trying to carry it up this hill. And meanwhile, what's going to happen is, like me on that hike, y'all, I was on this hike and I was really much younger than I am now. And I'm telling you, some grandma that would look like she was 95 years old passed me. She should have given me CPR is what she should have done. But anyway, I was gasping for air. And that woman passed me like I was standing still, like literally just didn't even pause. That's what's going to happen to us. We're going to be standing there gasping, trying to get air, trying to figure out how do we do this. And there's going to be a wall of people that run past us. Think of any movie where you have that wall of like warriors or whatever they are, and you hear the screaming and they're running to, that's what's going to happen. But that ain't going to be you and me because we're tired. We've been tired. We've been in the trenches fighting the war. We've been telling people, we've been supporting. We're exhausted. It's time for us to catch a break and step to the side of the trail and let this huge group, tidal wave of people run past us and take justice in their own hands. Because that's what's fixing to happen, you guys, okay? Take really, really good care. You want to know more about my community, my classes, my event, anything at all, please check out SusanLynnMedium.com. And don't forget, spiritual videos will help you, will raise your vibration. They're simple. They're not hard. You don't have to do, you don't have to stand on your head and blow sage out your you-know-where. If you can do that, would you send a video? Because that'd be really cool. But no, don't do that. I'm just saying, like, I'm grounded. I'm down to earth. My spiritual videos are grounded and down to earth, and they can help you. Please check out Susan Lynn, Spiritual Way Shower on YouTube. It's free help. Free. Okay. Much love. I'll be back soon. We'll see you. For entertainment purposes only,